For sale and for demo today, we got another one of these lovely pieces. It's an early 1992 Stevie Ray Vaughan Signature Series Stratocaster with a Brazilian rosewood fretboard. I'm going to play a little bit of the sounds here. You're going to get a listen to it, and we're going to talk more about these models, especially the Brazilian rosewood. So fast forward if you want to hear more about that. For now, here's the sounds. Here we go. Alright, so that's a quick demo of the tones you get out of this guy. Let's talk a little bit about it. These guitars were released in 1992, about the time Stevie Ray Vaughan died. There was planned production ahead of time, but 1992 is the release date. That's significant because a lot of these have serial numbers that if you run, they would be earlier, 89, 90, 91. That one you can see is SE90, so you would think, oh, 1990. Well, no. If you look at the butt of the neck and the neck date on this guy, it's February of 92. Now, that's actually pretty early for these. The body date is January, so this is definitely part of the first batch of guitars. So you got a three-tone sunburst finish on an alder body. You got one-piece maple neck here with a nice thicker SRV style backplate, SRV style profile. Black, of course, pick guard and black backplate. Gold parts. Texas Special pickups. Really nice, robust sounding. 5-way switch. And of course, on this guy, a Brazilian rosewood fretboard. All right, I'm going to spend the rest of this video talking about this. I'm going to make another video to show you pictures, to walk you through how you can tell whether these have Brazilian rosewood. Now, 99.9% of these have what's called pau ferro. That's a different kind of wood that's been used on a lot of Fender guitars since Brazilian and now Indian rosewood haven't been used as much. Originally, the Stevie Ray Vaughan Signature Series Strat was supposed to have Brazilian rosewood. If you look at the early advertising literature, it says on there that these had Brazilian rosewood. It's pretty well accepted at this point that there are a good number, I'm not exactly sure how many, of examples that came out of the first year that have Brazilian rosewood. people estimate numbers, but I have not found any kind of like reliable source that says how many. Some people say under 80, under 50. Some people say under 100. I really don't know. It's not a lot, but they can be found. I've owned, I think, 5 of these. I need to look up, but it's 4 or 5 at this point, including this one. This one has Brazilian rosewood. Now, how can you tell? Well, first of all, it's not all about color. I get a lot of people, even here in the comments, I'm sure I'll get a lot of people that tell me I'm a liar and a cheat and everything else because the color doesn't look right. As far as color goes, Brazilian rosewood has a wide range of color. You have 2 parts to the tree trunk. One's the heartwood, the other I think is called the sapwood. The heartwood is the inner part that's the darker colors. And that can range from a kind of like really dark, almost ebony-like color, which you see on a lot of vintage instruments, to like chocolate brown with reds in between, to almost like a brown tan color. A lot of times you'll see streaks of different colors in one piece of wood. In fact, I'll probably bring it down here, a 1960s Strat that has both colors, 2 different colors right down the middle up here. I've had Gibson guitars too, where it's cut right along that seam between the sapwood and the heartwood. Or if not that, just different shades. So it can have a wide range of color. Pau Ferro is different. It's typically more on the lighter side, light tan, although you will get some bright reds and colors. And so there's an overlapping area where like a lighter Brazilian and a darker Pau Ferro might look close, although they're not quite the same. Now I've got up on the wall here, just right there, 6 Fender guitars from the 60s. I got another one laying on the floor here, a Jazzmaster from 62. And if you look at the 62 Jazzmaster, I'm going to include a photo of this in the listing, side by side. You'll see how close the shade is. So color's one thing. Again, it could be ebony, chocolate brown, or even a lighter brownish color with some reds in there. Traditionally, you see mainly the ebony color, like in the 50s, 60s, and earlier, because that was the most desirable color, part of the wood. They were harvesting that, they were highlighting that. As the wood became more scarce, patterns that were wood cuts that had less attractive patterns, colors started to get used more and more because the wood got more scarce. Remember, these are the early 90s, so it's not like they got a stock of prime Brazilian rosewood to choose from. Okay, so that's color. What's the other thing to look for? Is pores in the wood grain. Brazilian rosewood is only modestly porous. You're only going to see a few pores and streaks inside the wood. They almost look like cracks if you're not familiar. They're typically somewhat long. Sometimes they can be 2 to 3 inches. More often they're like a ½ inch to an inch, and there's not a lot of them. Pau Ferro is very different. Pau Ferro is very cluttered. There's lots of pores, and many of them are very, very short, maybe even not even 1/8 of an inch, and you'll just see them densely packed into each fret area. So that's one way to tell. If you're looking at it, it's very densely packed, and it's a light tan color. It's not Brazilian, it's Pau Ferro. So I'll try to get you a close-up here of this guy. See if I can get it to focus. But there you can kind of see, there's the grain, and it's not densely packed. It also means when you cut against the grain, this is with the grain, against the grain, if you're looking here on the end, and you look right there at the butt of the neck, right above the truss rod, there you can see the end grain. And the end grain now, instead of going lengthwise, it's just a tiny little dot. If you look down there in that spot and you only see some, modestly spaced dots, that's Brazilian. If they're really densely packed together, that's Pau Ferro. Okay, another way to tell is the smell. This one, thankfully, still has the nice smell, but see, if you put your nose right up to it, sometimes you have to just scratch it a little bit, and it will release just a little bit of the fibers and the dust. Yeah, see, you can smell it. It's a sweet smell that only Brazilian rosewood have, and Pau Ferro doesn't either. There's other tests you can do, but this one is undoubtedly Brazilian. I'm happy to provide any more comparative shots, anything else like that you want to confirm. Although, again, Fender did not release paperwork with each one saying it has Brazilian rosewood or not. They didn't do that, so I don't have that for you. but I do have my authentication process that I can walk you through. I can show you third-party websites that I have no vested interest in, so that you can see based on the evidence that, yeah, it is indeed Brazilian rosewood. So this guitar is in mint condition. Keep in mind that mint does not mean brand new or completely and totally flawless. If you look on Reverb and look up mint as a condition, mint is a guitar that's been opened and played a few times, but includes all the original packaging and accessories and everything. That's what this has. So there's some very modest play wear. I think most significant is just some pick scratches here by the SRV. There's some very light handling wear and scratches on the back, but really nothing to write home about. Neck looks perfect. Barely even the faint trace of the sign that this thing's been played. So it's really in fantastic shape. Comes with the original tweed case with that kind of softer lining that you've seen in the 80s and 90s. Comes with the original manuals, Fender polish cloth with the little Fender logo thing on it, a cable, tremolo bar, all that stuff's included. It's in great shape. The neck has the right relief, and pickups sound good. It's a really nice guitar. It's a very collectible guitar, and yeah, it's got slab board Brazilian rosewood. So thanks for checking out this guitar. If you have any questions about that or want more pictures, just leave a comment here, give me a way to contact you, and I'll follow up and share with you any more info you might need. Thanks for checking out the video, and hope you enjoyed this 1992 Stevie Ray Vaughan Stratocaster. Again, I'll try to put a link below for another video walking you through some more detailed photos about how to spot Brazilian rosewood. If you want more detailed pictures of this guitar, just click the link to the listing or look up above if you're in the listing, and you'll see a little more.